So it looks like the players are going to be ready. The next map is Metalopolis.
And this is Sjow's chosen map, and hopefully he can pull it back to 1-1 and give us that third game. Hopefully the Blind Terran can pull this back.
I mean, so far we've seen an incredible series of games, and here we are on our next map. In the right corner, the Red Terran player from Sweden, the previous IEM European champion, it is Sjow! And in the north, the Korean Zerg, who has narrowly defeated all of his opponents but still remains undefeated. It is StarTales July.
And once again, July's going to have that easy option to scout out where his opponent is. And won't really need to send a drone out like in the previous game. We'll just get the information from the Overlord. We'll see where Sjow is. We'll see, does he go for that barracks? And we'll see, most importantly, does he have those Vespene Geysers early on? Because just looking at the Vespene Geysers tells you so much about what the Terran player is doing. Obviously, if he's going to go for them, you know he's taking up, you know you can be more safe. If he doesn't have them, you know that's either going to be a very risky fast command center, which Sjow can definitely not do on this map, or it will be some form of barracks pressure.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about Sjow's style in relation to the typical Terran style. The way Sjow plays tends to rely on a lot of very cute unit mixes, a lot of unusual unit mixes, and in particular, Hellions and Vikings Sjow uses magnificently to control the map. But in any matchup, you have a core set of units and a fundamental standard play. Ooh, a 2 racks coming up from Sjow, a little bit more standard, placing it quite well, trying to feign an early expand. But again, keep in mind that you always have a core fundamental strategy, and any deviation you make from that must do a lot of damage to justify deviating away. We've seen Sjow go for 2-port Banshees or crazy Blue Flame Hellion drops, and those need to do a lot of damage before Sjow can successfully go back to the Marine tank mix that is the standard core aspect of Terran versus Zerg. So the question is, will Sjow actually be able to do the damage that he needs?
And we're going to have to see as these second barracks is just about to complete. July Zerg does have a very vulnerable Overlord just by this natural here, and if he loses that, that could be very detrimental to this game. July Zerg sees that there's no double geyser. He knows it's either going to be double barracks pressure or a fast command center, and now he knows what's going on as the bunker does begin, and he pulls off a lot of drones here to help deal with this.
It looks like that SCV's taking a good amount of damage, and it looks like, oh, swings over to the other side. There's the Marine up. July Zerg is making 6 total Zerglings, and just as we saw against Thorzane, July is having remarkable control against this. Will Sjow actually have the control that it takes to be able to pick off a lot of these drones? We see these drones very far away from home. Can they manage to pick off any SCVs? There are a lot of drones that are in yellow health, but none have been taken out yet.
Wow.
Looks like one goes down, but July brilliantly defends.
And this is most definitely the time that Sjow should fall back. And, well, actually, wow, this reminds me so much of the game we saw Idra play versus MMA, where usually the Terran player will fall back now and go and get that command center up. But no, Sjow is going to add on 2 more barracks and will be hiding a lot of Marines and then go for some killer sting push.
Ooh, that was a very close unburrow, and now July spots this. Now, ordinarily, you see players like Boxer, like Marine King Prime, will open 2 racks and specifically will have a close or proxy or hidden barracks. And while this barracks is floating back home, they will use the extra resources to build a command center. So if I am Zerg right now, I am thinking, aha, I saw the floating barracks. I now know definitively that it was a 2 racks. I'm going to anticipate a fast command, but man, it looks like July is well versed with what MMA did at the previous MLG. Going to try to dart in again.
And that was the kind of mistake from Idra in that game, was actually not going ahead and following up with the scout and getting that information of what your opponent's doing. July Zerg did try, but got shut down by that Overlord, and now a lot of Marines are getting ready to push out. July Zerg sees it immediately with these Lings, and now goes straight back into Ling production. 8 Lings are on their way out.
Looks like that second Queen is now popping up in the main. July Zerg going to have to make sure he makes a lot of Zerglings. We're seeing,
Is he going to go ahead and...
Crawler.
Where's this drone going?
Oh, looks like Sjow is going to have to do some really nice control, and it looks like that is exactly what he needs to do. Oh!
SCV train coming up, and now Jalisik has this drone. Was going to go ahead and expand. Will definitely not do that. 3 spine crawls on the way down. The queen from the main needs to get down there ASAP, and this is going to be very hard to hold.
Counterattack from July fails. Right now, this is going to be extremely close. This is a lot of Zerglings. Drones coming down from the ramp. All the Marines from Sjow being controlled beautifully, annihilating the Zerglings. It is just drones right now. That is the only thing standing in Sjow's way. Sjow doing ridiculous amounts of damage, but it looks like the spine crawlers will manage to pop up. Oh no, July gonna lose 2 overlords. 1 goes down, the second goes down. Sjow is not done yet. Target firing the next spine crawler.
Oh, he's gonna get us around with the links.
Oh, but does he have enough?
No.
No. Sjow is still in this in the unit counting station. 14 SCVs, 18 drones. July has nothing mining in the main except for these 2. And the Marines are continuing to being rallied 4 at a time. What will July do to manage to swing back in this game? He does have speed.
And he is going to go for a counterattack with these lings on the left-hand side. 2 spine crawls are going to be under fire. He needs to get that queen. Do not lose that queen!
Oh, the queen manages to stay alive, and the spine crawlers do huge damage. We see 16 Zerglings in production. The speed Zerglings from behind going to be able to catch up. It finally does fall. Sjow is inches from running up and killing his queen, but he needs to keep his Marines together. The instant that Marine count falls too low, he is going to be done. But we see Zerglings continuing to be made, and oh no, July with the surround. Sjow.
Wow.
Having to make a full retreat. In the unit counting station, we do see that Sjow is equal to July in the worker count.
And July's getting a little bit supply blocked, being under all this pressure. He's having to build 2 overlords now. 5 drones do get squeezed out, though, and the drone lead is going to advance a little bit further. 23 versus 18. And now this this kind of Marine attack has been shut down. But how does Sjow transition from here? He's going to be adding on double geysers straight away. And that overlord already on its movement to find these 2 refineries being added on.
That is some really, really sharp planning by July to make sure he accounts for that. Meanwhile, back in the main, just slowly trying to recoup. If only Sjow was able to kill off that 1 queen. We see that both of them in the orange health, that could have severely impacted the outcome of this game. That would have been at least 2 larva injects that would not have gone down. The command center popping down for Sjow. In the unit station, we see that there are 18 Zerglings versus the 12 Marines. Sjow having an extremely wise timing attack.
He could do a lot of pressure here. Oh, Jalisik squeezes 3 more drones in just as the Marines come into vision. And he doesn't really have the lava to engage this. Well, to build more links, but oh, now he does. A lava inject just finishes up 12 more links in production. And Sjow needs to go back to defend against this counterattack.
July's are doing the smart thing, trying to eliminate all the Marines that are incoming. But I think this is a big mistake for Sjow to begin to move out. He's seen how long it is taking. He's going to have to unburrow these. But if Sjow does pull back right now, that would be a great maneuver.
But if he's not. He's gonna just touch the creep and then turn around. But these are speedlings. They are fast enough. Surround incoming.
And it looks like another huge surround by Startails. July. Sjow from Team Dignitas taking some huge hits.
He just cannot break Jalisik. And look at the unit counting station. 41 drones versus 24. Roach Warren about to be completed. Evo Chamber being added on. And now this 3rd base of Jalisik not that far away from finishing. Just about to pop right now.
I really think Sjow should have trusted in his straight-up game. Sjow has taken many big wins off July before, but just kind of abandoning ship at this stage. Now he's going to be transitioning back into normal play, but he's already quite far behind his opponent. We see the 2 factories going down. Tech Lab cropping up. Looks like he's getting the combat shield. We've seen a lot of Europeans like to do a combat shield. A Hellion push. We saw Maru do it when he was playing yesterday. Will Sjow do the same? They do live in the same house, keep in mind.
And so this command center has gone down now. More drones in production, 57 now with another added 6. So we are going to be going up to 63 drones now. We're getting to that critical amount of drones where it's going to be so hard for Sjow to do anything because only units are going to be made. Roaches have been added on and the layer just starting now so we can continue getting the roach speed upgrade. And no use for this Evo Chamber yet. We'll most likely be looking to get that +1 missile attacks very, very shortly.
Looks like we're seeing Sjow just go straight into double tank production. I think that's a very smart choice. He's going to be up against a lot of roaches. This will allow him to push quickly, and keep in mind, you can do the very fast tank on the high ground, tanks down on low, and then elevator back up to the high ground. Ends up being very difficult for Zergs to deal with. And again, Sjow could have gone straight for this instead of for those relentless all-in attacks.
I mean, if you look at the income right now, I mean, it's pretty insane. Almost double.
Wow.
July Zerg right now, and the units were at 68 drones versus 36 SCVs, not nearly enough, and Sjow knows that he's behind, he knows he has to do something, and this is what he's going to do, hit before any upgrades really take effect. The melee attack has only just begun, so is the roach speed, but a lot of links in production. Another counter attack by July.
Successfully unburrows those supply depots, but is taking damage in this SCV line. No stim yet for July, so these Zerglings can run amok in the main. The combat shield is done right now. Can Sjow get that stim up in time? It is going to take an eternity at the rate the show is going.
I mean, he hasn't even started researching it yet, and well, I don't know what Sjow can do here. Fourth base is coming up for July Zerg. A Baleen Nest has been added on as well, and a lot more units. And Show's decided to go on the defensive, adding on a couple of bunkers here.
Does look like there is a macro hatch being added. July's going to go into huge unit production mode. Still going to be relying on these counter attacks, the new tool of many new school players. We now see Sjow going to move out. He sees that he is on creep, needs to scan to pick that off. And again, big counter going on. Tanks coming down the low ground. The tanks get surrounded.
One goes down.
Exactly what July needed to pull ahead at this phase in the game. But now we see Sjow needs to do huge damage with this push.
So many links about to pop. Roach speed done. +1 melee attack about to be done. I'm not even sure July Zerg cares about that +1 melee attack. He'll go with all these links any second now. And there he goes in right now. He's going to get complete surface area on all these units.
Oh no, no stim. All the roaches march right forward, annihilating everything. July absolutely crushing this force. And poor Sjow, even though it might look a little bit close, keep in mind, total control goes to July back home. Hardly any units. 2 tanks, 12 Marines versus 13 Roaches, 13 Zerglings, and we have another 20 units about to pop out. The fourth base done for July, and Aspire almost complete. This means that now July can suddenly whip out some Mutalisks for some heavy harass, and there's almost no way that July can possibly lose at this point.
No, I mean, Shjow's got no turrets in the base at all. He's not really expecting any Mutalisks to pop out anytime soon, and he needs to get up a third base ASAP, and now July about to take use of this fourth base, get those Vespene geysers up, but it's looking pretty bad for Sjow here. Even though he's in a defensive manner, he will be able to hold this attack for sure.
A lot of roaches swinging up. It's going to all come down to these 4 tanks. And the repair, we see Banelings, ripping through SCVs. Amazingly, Sjow defends, but at what cost in the unit station? 38 SCVs versus 90 drones.
And all the Marines pretty much have gone down. If you look at the unit tab now, we have 11 Marines and 10 Mutalisks about to pop out. And unfortunately for Sjow, he just doesn't have anything to counter Mutalisks. The main is naked. Also, the natural has a few Marines, but still without stim. And we're at the 18-minute mark, and it's about 75% complete. +1 infantry weapons. Won't be too far away, which will help out. But so many Banelings, so many units. 166 supply for July Zerg versus only 90 of Sjow.
And maybe Sjow could have hoped to stay alive and maybe pull out a win against just ground units, but once the Mutalisks roll in, Show's options are slim to none. He is going all out on the offensive, moving towards the middle of the map, and wow, this is crazy. The Apollo stim is finishing up at the 20-minute mark.
I know, that's so crazily late. And he's going to move out with these Mutalisks now, and he's going to try and take this gold. That could also give him the opportunity to get a lot of units out, but he's losing so many supply depots that he's supply capped at 94 now, having to build 4 supply depots all at once, but so many Banelings. The good point for Sjow is he does have a lot of tanks, but Mutalisks are coming in to get rid of that count.
Oh no, 8 tanks completely undefended. It looks like he will kill 1. Can he kill more? Well, he's going to get a second. Oh, if he gets a third, cutting it down to 5 tanks. Sjow having a total collapse against July. Try to do the all-in cheese. and has been completely unable to recover since that point. The starport not even done, stuck at 20 out of 50.
And all these SCVs are going down on the gold base. And how's Jeliza going to combat against siege tanks? Well, there you go. Bunch of units in these overlords are just going to land right on top of them on that gold base. And when Sjow loses this gold base now, there is nothing to keep him in this game.
This is why July is called the God of War, dropping everything on top. Units rolling in from all angles. Sjow getting rolled, and there it is.
GG.
The good game. July winning 2 convincing games against Sjow with huge attacks. And there is the crowd delighted to have seen July, a big favorite.
Absolutely
a solid
amazing.
Win.
Guy is incredible. There's a reason why it's called God of War, Sean, and that was clearly displayed in that. And unfortunately for Sjow, that he's got 2 losses now, Sean, and that's not at all good.
That's going to be a huge struggle for Sjow. I mean, already in that group, the only person that he's been able to take a win against is Machine, narrowly eking that out 2-1. And Machine is another one of those players who is pretty resilient against this cute style that Sjow likes to incorporate. But what we've really seen is the strongest Terrans have been putting up really, really standard plays, and it's been extremely rough for the tip-top Zergs to be able to deal with it. Players like Thorzane, players like Tarson pushing those Koreans to the brink of elimination.
And I think that Sjow should quite easily be able to beat Sushi, but the problem's going to lie with the game against Hazuobs, because Hazuobs is not a walkover. And
absolutely.
No question about it, Sjow needs to win both games. No question about it.
Yeah, and I have extra special news coming up from what match we'll be casting next. It is going to be Huck versus La Lush. Huck, who has really not gotten the chance to make a lot of appearances lately, going to come out onto the field, and we have seen not very many Protosses struggle in this tournament. The Protosses are doing remarkably well.
And Huck currently is 2-0 in his group, not dropping a game, taking out Fury 2-0, also taking out Bisu. No, he hasn't played Bisu yet. Also taking out Tarson, sorry, 2-0. But the game against La Lush is going to be pretty awesome, I'm sure. Huck, really excited to see how his Protoss is doing. He spent a lot of time in Korea recently, and I think finally he's starting to get to that level where he's an awesome player.
You know, but still, I mean, I'm really hoping that a lot of these ultra European superstars can really begin to put some wins on the table. I mean, when we watch the games from players like Sjow, he has so much expectation put on him. And then to see him go 2 racks into 4 racks, and then when that all-in doesn't work, to just 4 racks harder, just keep rallying those Marines. He's really selling himself short. Sjow has remarkably solid, normal play. And that's one thing that is this weird urge. I'm sure that you've had it in your experience in major tournaments where when you're suddenly in the spotlight, you have this urge to just end the game immediately, to try to do anything you can to shut it down.
And also, if you kind of feel inferior to your opponent too, that kind of rolls into play too, which Sjow might have been feeling against July Zerg, and especially with his confidence against Zerg as well, knowing that he can't really beat a top Zerg player at the moment. And all that added up to a disappointing 0-2 from Sjow, but not necessarily out yet, though. Depending on the rest of the results in the group, he still could scrape through.
But great news for the July fans, because we've seen entertaining games out of July every single time at MLG's here at Dreamhack. So it's a very strong chance that he will be advancing on to the next round. Keep in mind, only 2 more hours of group stage play after that. It will be draws for the round of 16 for the single elimination bracket. So whatever you do, do not go anywhere. Huck vs. Lalash will be coming up after the break. I'm Day 9.
And I'm D Apollo.
And this is Dreamhack Summer 2011.
The faster light protection. ESET Nod 32 antivirus gives you less lag and more frag for your Windows, Mac or Linux computer. tests.